Madam Chair, we are live.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, everybody. Hope everybody's having a good week so far. This is Commissioner Chair Valenzuela, and I'd like to go ahead and call the meeting to order. Today is Wednesday, March 23rd, 2022, and the time is 7:02. Okay. Can we, Commissioner Escobosa, can you go ahead and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance today?
Absolutely.
Perfect.
Sorry, I was looking for a flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag
To the flag
of the
of
United States of America and to the republic for which it
for which
stands,
it stands,
one nation,
one nation,
under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
All right. It's a little awkward with the echo, but thank you.
I agree. Okay, Planning Secretary, can you go ahead and do roll call, please?
Yes, Madam Chair Valenzuela,
Here.
Vice Chair Maciel Jr.,
Here.
Commissioner Escobosa,
Here.
Commissioner Vasquez.
Here.
We're excusing Commissioner Peña. Motion passes for, I'm sorry, not motion passes, but we have roll call all four.
Okay. Okay, so do I have a motion to excuse Commissioner Peña?
Yes, please.
Yes.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Thank you. You can
I'm
go ahead and
sorry.
do roll call, please.
Hold on one sec. Who
Sure.
made the motion? Oh, Valenzuela, okay. And who seconded?
Mario.
Okay. All right, very good. All right, Madam Chair Valenzuela,
Yes.
Vice Chair Maciel Jr.,
Yes.
Commissioner Escobosa,
Yes.
Commissioner Vasquez.
Yes.
Okay.
Perfect. Thank you. All righty. So at this time, we can go ahead and move forward with public communications. Do we have any?
No, Madam Chair, we do not have any communications.
Okay, perfect. All right, so do we motion, I'll go ahead and close the public communications at this moment. Do I have a second?
You don't need a motion for that, Chairman Valenzuela.
Okay.
Just you can go ahead and close
Okay.
it yourself.
Perfect. So then this time I'll go ahead and just close out public communications. And then we can go ahead and move on to the consent calendar, please. The first item on the consent calendar is the action minutes from the meeting of February 23rd, 2022. Do I have a motion to go ahead and pass the minutes, please?
Second.
Perfect.
I'm sorry, I'm just having a little technical difficulty. Who the motion was again?
Motion to pass the minutes from the February 23rd meeting.
Okay, and that was motion Valenzuela
Yes, please.
and seconded by Vasquez.
Yes.
Okay, Madam Chair Valenzuela,
Yes.
Vice Chair Maciel Jr.,
Yes.
Commissioner Escobosa,
Yes.
Commissioner Vasquez.
Yes.
Motion passes for 0.
Okey-dokey. Okay, and are there any staff reports regarding any of that, or can we go ahead and proceed?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so at this moment, we'll go ahead and open up any public hearings for coming up for the request for consideration of a recommendation of approval to the City Council regarding Development Agreement 19-03 to allow the construction of a double-faced LED digital billboard located at 1529 Virginia Avenue. The applicant is Lamar of Los Angeles.
Yes. Thank you, Madam Chair. Our
ahead.
Associate Planner, Melissa Chipris, will be providing the presentation.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay, before we begin, Mark, can we let in Kent Saunders?
Will do.
Thank you. And I think that's everybody for the Lamar project. Let's double check.
Maybe you could ask Mr. Saunders if he's expecting anyone else.
Hi, Kent, is this everybody? Or is anybody from De Novo gonna be joining us? Kent, I think you're muted. Kent?
Hold on one sec. Mark, does he have,
I already allow him to talk.
yes, thank
Oh,
you.
okay,
Mark.
thank you.
He needs to unmute himself.
Kent, can you unmute your mic?
Uh-oh, let me,
No.
okay,
Yeah,
let's-
he's unmute now.
I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
Am I
Yeah,
still
yeah.
muted?
Yeah, he unmute
No,
now.
we can hear you.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay, is it just gonna be you or is anybody from De Novo gonna be joining? Or I don't know if they're on here.
I believe it's just me.
Just you? Okay, no problem.
okay.
Okay, so we can begin. So good evening, Honorable Chair and members of the Commission. The case before you is a request for consideration of a recommendation of approval to the City Council regarding Development Agreement 19-03 to allow the construction of a double-faced LED digital billboard, location 1529 Virginia Avenue. Applicant Lamar of Los Angeles, and case number again is DA 19-03. Next slide, please. Okay, so the subject site, 1529 Virginia Avenue, is located within the IC Industrial Commercial Zone and is directly adjacent to the I-10 San Bernardino Freeway and abuts freeway commercial to the east and industrial commercial zoning to the south and west. Next slide, please. The proposed project consists of 2 LED electronic sign faces, and the proposed construction will consist of the billboard sign area to be 14 feet in height and 48 feet in width, and have an overall height of 90 feet. So ordinance 1398, section 2, item H, the overall height of advertising structures, that is static billboards or that include a digital billboard, and excluding extensions, shall not be more than 65 feet in height as measured from the highest point to the main road or interstate highway from the advertising, that the advertising is to be viewed. Next slide, please. So here we have a rendering of the proposed digital billboard. Next slide, please. And here we have, if you had noted that the billboard pole is a total of 90 feet in height. Our ordinance does allow max 65 feet, but the applicant has provided a line of sight showing that the freeway surface to the highest point of the proposed sign is 64 feet in height, making them compliant with the city's ordinance 1398. Also, the design of the digital billboard has been tentatively approved by the design review committee pending Planning Commission recommendation and City Council approval of the development agreement. Also, in accordance with the provisions of the California Environment Quality Act, it has been determined that the proposed project will not have a significant impact on the environment, and an initial study and mitigated negative declaration of environmental impact has been prepared and provided to you in your agenda packets. The initial study was prepared by De Novo Planning Group and has been through a public review period, which took place from January 26, 2022 to February 24th, 2022. And the notice of intent inviting public comment of the initial study and mitigated negative declaration was posted at the Los Angeles County Clerk's Office, the city's website, and here at City Hall. And the public review period closed with no responses from the public. Next slide, please. A few terms of the development agreement include that the term of the agreement shall remain in full force and effect for 25 years after construction final, or the permanent removal of the digital displays constructed pursuant to the terms hereof. Second, the developer shall pay an annual development fee to the city of $72,000 per year, increased every 5 years, every 5-year anniversary of the term commencement date by the increase of the CPIU over the immediately preceding 5-year period, calculated as follows. So no later than 30 days after the end of the 60th month following the effective date. And the development fee and mitigation fee will be increased in accordance with the increase of CPI over the preceding 5-year term. And finally, the developer shall not utilize any of the displays on the billboard to advertise smoking, tobacco, vaping, adult entertainment, sexually oriented materials, images, and language, any obscene matter as that term is defined by the California Penal Code Section 311. Next slide, please. So to summarize the request, the development agreement will allow the applicant to construct a double-faced LED digital billboard at 1529 Virginia Avenue. As part of the agreement, the applicant will pay an annual development fee to the city, and the term of the agreement is a 25-year term. Next slide, please. Well, got ahead of myself. But staff recommends that the Planning Commission adopt resolution PC 22-02 entitled "A Resolution of the Planning Commission to the City of Baldwin Park recommending that the City Council to approve 1, an initial study and mitigated negative declaration of environmental impact report, and 2, development agreement 19-03 to permit the construction of a double-faced LED digital billboard within the IC Industrial Commercial Zone, location 1529 Virginia Avenue. Applicant Lamar of Los Angeles, case number D8 19-03. And this concludes staff's presentation, and the applicant is present for any questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, let's see. Do any commissioners have any questions or concerns? Okay.
I have a question. I don't know if
Go ahead.
you can see when okay. I'm sorry, I guess I was just wondering what you said there was a California code to determine what is considered obscene. Can you give me that code again?
Yes. Yes, so it's California Penal Code Section 311.
And I'm assuming this is just like a generalized definition.
I believe so, yes.
And so, sorry, do you know if Lamar of Los Angeles would be open to feedback if down the line something is advertised that the penal code does allow, but our community is offended by?
This is Ken Saunders. Yeah, they'll definitely be open with it. We're going to be your partner on this for 25 years. So anything you find objectionable, it will be very responsive.
Okay.
Thank you.
I have a
Any
quick
other?
question. May.
Go ahead.
Ron, how far is this proposal from the billboard that we have from Laylaw? Because it kind of looks similar to what we have built there already on that property.
Ron,
You're-
you're muted.
You're muted.
I can look that up fairly quick. I don't, Melissa, do you know offhand how far the other one is away? I will say, Commissioner Maciel, that per the state law that governs billboards across California, there are very specific requirements, and the applicant, Ken Saunders, can provide some additional feedback on this, is that they're required that they cannot be within 500 feet of another billboard. And so when the application was first submitted, that is one of the first things that is confirmed and vetted to make sure that it's not within 500 feet of another.
Okay, that was exactly what I was checking, to make sure that we're not
Yes.
cutting into that.
Yeah, and
Okay.
you know, the billboard industry, they're very knowledgeable of that requirement, and so when they come in, they all of them that we've dealt with have checked that box. And Ken, if you want to provide some a little more detail, but I think that covered it.
And
Absolutely.
Madam-
The Laidlaw board you're talking about is 29 to 30,000 feet farther east on the freeway. And you're correct about billboards being 500 foot apart. Actually, digital billboards have to be over 1,000 foot apart
Okay.
on the same side of the freeway.
And Madam Chair, if I may speak for just a moment on that issue.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Okay, that's okay. Yes, so the city, when we look at this in a holistic way, and we look at what billboards have already been established and where other billboards can go, and before we ever let them make an application or proceed, we make sure that the proposed location is within state guidelines. And I know for a fact that we did that with this one as well.
Thank you
I
for that.
I have another question. And you may not have this information in front of you, but are you able to share perhaps some of the largest stakeholders that Lamar of Los Angeles works with?
I'm sorry, you say the largest stakeholders?
Yeah, I guess what I'm trying to ask is maybe one of your largest companies that you advertise.
You know, I don't know for sure, but I would guess it's Frito-Lay, Coca-Cola,
Okay.
the Dodgers.
Dodgers, okay. Frito-Lay, Coca-Cola, and Dodgers. Got it. Thank you.
Like I said, that's my guess.
Any other questions or concerns? Okay, I see none. So then I'll go ahead and open it up to any public hearing from the community. Do we have anybody calling in?
No, Madam Chair, we don't have any speakers for this item.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Alrighty. Do I have a motion then to move forward?
I'll go ahead and motion it to move forward.
Second,
Thank you.
And that was Escobosa.
yes.
Seconding it, yes.
Thank you. Okay, Madam Chair Valenzuela,
Yes.
Vice Chair Maciel Jr.,
Yes.
Commissioner Escobosa,
Yes.
Commissioner Vasquez.
Yes.
Motion passes 4-0.
Thank you. Okay, at this time, we'll go ahead and move on to the next item on the consent calendar, please.
Yes, Madam Chair. Associate Planner Melissa Chippers will be providing the presentation on this as well.
Thank you.
Okay, Mark, can we let Marcella Reese in? And if we can unmute her as well, please.
Will do.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so before you is tentative parcel map TPM 83651, a request for consideration to subdivide one lot into two lots within the R1 single family residential zone to facilitate the creation of two single family lots at 12722 Best Avenue. Next slide, please. The project is exempt from the provisions of the California Environmental Quality Act, CEQA, Section 15315, minor land divisions of the CEQA guidelines. So the lot's shape is rectangular and is generally flat, and the parcel is currently developed with two single-family homes that will be maintained during the subdivision. And the property is currently one parcel with a lot area of approximately 15,018 square feet. Next slide, please. The subject property zoning designation is single-family residential R1, and the site is also surrounded by single-family residential zones. Next slide, please. The site plan submitted by the applicant indicated the layout, which consists of two single-family residential lots. Parcel 1 and parcel 2 will both be 7,509 square feet and maintain one single-story residential dwelling and a two-car garage on each parcel, and will continue to have driveway access off of Best Avenue. The applicant is not proposing any building modifications during the parcel map subdivision. Next slide, please. So to conclude, staff recommends that the Planning Commission approve Resolution PC 22-03 to approve TPM 83651. Thank you. And the applicant is present for any questions.
And Madam Chair, just for the record, we have completed our consent calendar and now we're on public hearings. So because it is a public hearing, we want to make sure for the record that we've indicated on the record that these are public hearings. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Okay, so, as our attorney stated, we are in the public hearing stage right now. So do we have any public hearings regarding this item?
Yes, Madam Chair. So we can ask for those anybody present that are in favor and then against, and then move forward in that way. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Do we have anybody in favor of this item?
Madam Chair, we do not have any speakers for this item. For or
Okay,
against.
none. Okay, perfect. So then I'll go ahead and close up the public hearing. Do any commissioners have any questions or concerns? Okay, I do have one quick question. I know because of the changes regarding SB 9 and needing more residential. Just to quickly reiterate on the division of this law, it's going to be side to side homes or front and back, like the duplex?
Side to side. It's side to side.
Okay, perfect. That's what I was wondering about. Okay, thank you very much.
No problem.
Just to add to that, Madam Chair, is that they are side to side and they are two, there will be two legal lots of record instead of one lot. Yes.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Any other questions or concerns? So at this moment, do I have a motion to proceed, or would the applicant like to put any words or would like to say anything before we move on?
No, I'm good.
Okay, thank you. Do I have any further questions or concerns from the commission?
I can motion to move forward.
I'll
Perfect,
second
thank you. Do I have a second? Perfect, thank you.
If I can get a second, for some reason, my speakers are not doing well this today. Mr. Maciel, okay. Thank you. Okay, Madam
Perfect.
Chair Valenzuela.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, and Vice Chair Maciel Jr.,
Yes.
Commissioner Escobosa,
Yes.
Commissioner Vasquez.
Yes.
Motion passes 4-0. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, at this moment, we'll go ahead and move on to the next item on the calendar.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. Associate Planner Melissa Chipris will be providing the presentation as we conclude the third presentation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mark, can we let Alfonso Romero in? And if we, oh, thank you. I see he's there. And if we can unmute him. Thank you. Okay, so okay, before you is conditional use permit application CP 22-02, requesting approval to allow alcohol sales in conjunction with the restaurant within the mixed use 1 zone. Next slide, please. On February 28th, the Planning Division received the said conditional use permit application from Alfonso Romero for La Cosecha. The proposed restaurant with alcohol sales will be located within the Main Avenue Marketplace Shopping Center within the mixed use 1 zone and is bound by Main Avenue and Clark Avenue. And the proposed restaurant will be located at the southwest corner of the shopping center. Next slide, please. The project site is designated mixed use in the City of Baldwin Park's general plan, and the proposed project is consistent with the city's general plan. The site is currently developed with a mixture of retail shops and restaurants, and the subject area is approximately 3,536 square feet. The applicant is proposing an alcohol use type 47 permit to allow on-sale beer and wine for an eating place. And the applicant is not proposing, next slide, please, sorry. And the applicant is not proposing any tenant or building improvements within the existing space. And the 3,536 square foot restaurant will consist of a dining room, service counter, kitchen, storage rooms, walk-in freezers, and men and women's restrooms. Next slide, please. So to conclude, staff does recommend that the Planning Commission approve resolution PC 22-04 to approve CP 22-02. This concludes staff's presentation and the applicant is present for any questions.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much. At this moment, I'd like to open up public hearing regarding to this item. Do I have any? Ron?
I'm so sorry. I was reading the conditions here.
Okay.
We have no speakers for and against this item.
Perfect. Thank you. At this moment, then I'll go ahead and close out public hearing and open it up to the commission. Do we have any questions or concerns?
I have a question possibly for Ron, more so than the applicant. A few months ago, we had a very similar proposal, and we were educated on the amount of liquor licenses that can be allowed within a certain radius. Are restaurants bound to that?
I can answer this, Ron, if you want.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, so ABC does allow within a census tract a certain amount of on-site alcohol licenses as well as off-site alcohol licenses. So it was provided in the staff report. Just give me 1 second to pull it up. So within this census tract, it's 4052.02. They allow for 5 on-site alcohol licenses and 3 off-site alcohol. And there is currently, aside from this one, if it were to be approved, there is 1 on-site and 2 off-site within the census tract. So there would not be an over concentration of alcohol licenses within this area.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions or concerns? Okay. Okay, I see none. Would the applicant like to add anything in? Any question, comments?
None here.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so at
I would
this
like
moment, I'll
to,
go.
sorry,
Go
sorry,
ahead, go ahead.
sorry, Chair. I just would like to add that I personally know Mr. Alfonso. He's done a phenomenal job here in Baldwin Park. He was a resident here at Baldwin Park way back that I can remember. And he's done a very phenomenal job. I don't know if you guys know, but he actually is the one that owns La Michoacana. And he's done an awesome job of keeping that place up and having events and all kinds of community activities hosted there. So I want to commend him for that, and I wish you a lot of luck with this one, Alfonso.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Appreciate that.
You got it, man.
And Vice Chair
Alrighty.
Maciel, since you know the applicant, no other factors that may be involved that may require you to recuse yourself? Is that you just know him as an acquaintance?
Exactly.
Thank you, sir.
Perfect. All right, any other questions, comments, concerns? Okay, so at this moment, I'll go ahead and motion to approve this project. Any seconds?
I'll second.
Oh.
It was Jen.
Who?
It was Escaposa.
Let's go. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
All right, Madam Chair Valenzuela,
Yes.
Vice Chair Maciel Jr.,
Yes.
Commissioner Escobosa,
Yes.
Commissioner Vasquez.
Yes.
Motion passes 4-0. Thank you.
Thank you. I wish you luck on this project.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
You're welcome. All right, and then let's go ahead and move on to the next item, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I will be presenting this item. We just wait for the PowerPoint here. Thank you. Okay. Madam Chair, Commissioners, this application represents a request for the Planning Commission consideration of a CUP for a new warehouse facility and 2 warehouse facilities within the existing buildings at 5060, 5038 Gayhurst Avenue, and 5051 Calmview Avenue. This item was previously approved by the Planning Commission on November 13th, 2019, and the entitlement expired in October of 2020. Next slide. The general plan land use designation of the subject property is general industrial, and the subject site is zone industrial. The site in question are located between Arrow Highway and Nubia Street on Gayhurst Avenue and Calmview. Additionally, the company also has an existing off-street parking facility within 28, consisting of 28 parking stalls located on Gayhurst Avenue. Next slide. The applicant is proposing a new 7,992 square foot warehouse, which will be constructed on an 11,832 square foot lot. The applicant manufactures candies and chocolates for national credit retailers. The existing 2-story warehouses are located facing Calmview Avenue and Gayhurst. Overall, this property contains approximately a little over 33,000 square feet of land area, and the warehouse and storage areas encompass approximately a little over 28,000 square feet of floor area. On the area of the property which faces Calmview Avenue is a manufacturing facility which has about 3,300 square feet of floor area. Sanders Candy Factory has a total of 46 parking spaces between the properties. The off-site parking lot was approved via a conditional use permit in 2005. However, the property where the new warehouse will be constructed will have 9 on-site parking stalls, which exceeds the minimum required for the proposal. Next slide. Here's a rendering, a floor plan of the facility. Has a small second story. 90% of the total overall building space is devoted to storage of the final product of the candy. Next slide. The proposed building architecture is proposed to match the existing buildings. It's supposed to mirror the adjacent building to this site. Alternative materials include CMU precision block and split face block painted pebble gray, also with decorative exterior cement plaster. Next slide. With the location of the subject site being adjacent to the industrial designated zones, conditions of approval have been included to address any adverse impacts of the use that may have on adjacent properties. Staff believes that there will not be any adverse impacts to the adjacent area as it results with the operation of expanding within a new warehouse and continuing operation of the existing candy manufacturing facility. That concludes staff's presentation. The recommendation is the Planning Commission adopt resolution 2205 approving conditional use permit 22-01. The applicant is present for any further questions, and that concludes staff's presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ron. Okay, so at this moment, I'll go ahead and open up any public hearings. Do we have any?
We have no speakers for and against for this item.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Then at this moment, I'll go ahead and close out public hearing. And I'll open it up to the commission. Do we have any questions, concerns, or comments?
I had a quick
Okay.
question for staff. Wasn't this item something that was established back, I want to say a couple years ago? It sounds so familiar where this
Yes.
project.
Yes, and I noted that in the staff report. This came before the Planning Commission in 2019, November of 2019. And since then, the entitlements expired. And so that is why they're coming before the Planning Commission again to resurrect the entitlement to proceed forward with the originally proposed warehouse building. Nothing has changed since the original proposal, so this is the same proposal as presented before the commission in 2019.
Okay. May I quickly ask, why did it expire? Was it because of the pandemic or
Yes,
what
partly.
stalled the project?
Yes, Madam Chair, partly that's one of the reasons. If I may, I probably want to refer to the applicant to provide some details so the commission is well informed on that.
Please, thank you.
Good evening. My name is Ipong Swan. I'm the architect for the project representing Sanders Candy Factory. And the assumption is correct in that the pandemic delayed the start of the project. Also, the company itself went through a little bit of ownership change. Therefore, the delay in the project, as Ron had stated, everything remains the same as what was approved prior. The owners are eager to get started. In fact, I think they just recently have their funding approved, so they're really eager to get going on this project now. And also, one other word is that I just want to thank you, staff, for their assistance and diligence in processing the application. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Ron, I have a question. Which was the new address that you guys were mentioning? It's a new location that's added into the
new location is 5051 Conview.
The new location is 5050.
Oh, I'm sorry, 5050.
Yes.
Yes. 5050 Gators?
5051 is the original building that they started Sanders Candy Factory in 1987. It's a little single story, about 1,500 square foot. They still maintain that. There's still a lot of candy making going on in there.
Yeah. Thank you. One other note, a good question, Commissioner Vasquez. I just want to, if you'll notice, that there are several properties that are a part of this conditional use permit. When this was first submitted, and obviously as I mentioned, this was been in operation since the 70s. And so we noted that there wasn't a use permit as required under the code. So we had to bring in all the properties into conformance as part of the CUP for the operation of the manufacturing facility and also the warehouse. So this essentially brings the facility and the warehouse up to code per the municipal code.
Okay,
So
and
that's why we included all the sites as part of the CUP.
got it. And I guess my follow-up question is on the 5038 address and 5060 address. I'm pointing to Google Maps here. I see residential address around. Has there been any prior issues or any concerns that have been brought by the community or anything?
No, so as part of the conditional use permit, it is required that we notify everyone within 300 feet of the subject property of the planning commission. No one during that time reached out to staff with any concerns with the proposal.
And how did the city reach out to residents?
So there are two things that are required. We send a notice of public hearing to everyone within that 300 feet, and also we post in the Baldwin Park Press as required by the municipal code.
Okay, was that sent in different English and Spanish, or is it just one language?
Our notices are traditionally done in English.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, may I chime in onto that? Good question, Commissioner Vasquez, but I really do think that in this area, we should try to reach out in Spanish speaking too, just because there's a very large Spanish speaking community. That's actually the area where I live. I live not far from here.
Okay.
And there's also an elementary school not too far from here. So would that affect anything of that? Traffic wise, work wise, what are the roughly operating hours for the business?
Yes, on the question on the operating hours, I'll have the applicant respond. With respect to the building proposed, it is below the threshold for, it considers under the California Environmental Quality Act. It falls below the threshold for analyzing traffic conditions for any traffic impacts, because again, the building is well below that. And that threshold to require further analysis is a 10,000 square foot building. So if we're proposing 10,000 square feet, then that would exceed that threshold. And then that would set off a series of analysis.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
So we have normal operating hours, generally the 8 to 5, 7 to 5 type of thing. During the high seasons, like for instance, Christmas time and all that, they actually double shift, meaning they bring in additional workers to help process the candies.
So is there a lot of movement going on during that season? Trucks?
Generally, just between the sites, there's movement between the buildings that are there now, just moving containers and materials back and forth. The trucks generally come in on Calmview side, and that's where the loading and unloading of the products happen.
Okay. And Ron, I get a question for you. I guess, is there still an opportunity to send out a notice to these local residents in Spanish if we say the commission decides to approve this applicant, but still send out a notice? And if the community does have concerns, can they still come back? I mean, I don't know if legal counsel can advise or yourself on this.
Well,
Yeah, thank you, Mr. City Attorney.
thank you, Ron. This will, of course, as I understand it, go to the city council, Ron, won't it?
No, it would not. So this is approved by final action if not appealed from any of the residents.
Oh, that's right. This is a CUP, not a development agreement.
Correct.
Okay, I'm sorry. So yeah, then it wouldn't come back again. And there is an appeal process, but other than that, I don't think there would be another opportunity for a public hearing, Commissioner.
Okay,
Now regarding,
alrighty.
Mr. City Attorney, regarding the notices, given the fact that we've already noticed the notice, I mean, the public hearing in response to the commissioner's question on sending a notice in Spanish, I mean, from my understanding, that notice has already been complete for this public hearing.
Yes, the notice is complete and in compliance with state laws in that regard. If you did send out another notice, I think it would be very confusing because the matter would already have been concluded and there really wouldn't be an opportunity for someone to come back and make a public comment.
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess if we could take this as, I mean, opportunity we could for next time, or
Any future developments?
Yes, thank you. Just to show transparency towards our community, make sure that everyone's understanding of what's happening, because not again, as Vice Chair or Valenzuela said, there in her area there's a lot of Spanish speaking, and I know that because I have family that lives in that area too, and I have a family that lives in that area, and she did not receive no notice, and she does not understand English. So just so we keep that for next time.
And then one other note I'd like to add to that is that the hours that were given to operation were 8 to 5, but if I'm not mistaken, in the staff report, it states it's going to be a 24-hour operation, not 8 to 5. It's opening from 7 in the morning to 7 at night, and it changes shift from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. So that is a factor that needs to be addressed to the residents if it wasn't addressed correctly and given full detail as to what plans are being set forward here, especially with the traffic that was stated earlier. That will make an impact and as to which hours are going to be designated for shipments to come in and shipments to leave. Will they be
That's
during
the biggest
working hours?
concern.
I have a
Yeah, that's the
question,
biggest concern. Yeah.
and I wonder
Go ahead.
if it's appropriate, because I was looking at Google Maps, and so, sorry, on Gayhurst, that's where we're getting the residential. And then on CommView, I was seeing a little bit more industrial buildings. And so to kind of appease the concerns, I wonder if the applicant would be willing to commit that the major, sorry, and this is not my industry at all, so the words escape me, but like any major trucks movement happen on CommView rather than go through Gayhurst. And I think you mentioned that earlier.
I'm reading the staff report right now. It says the hours of operation is 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. as well as 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. So, and again, as the architect of the project, I'm not as familiar with the operation. My understanding is that part of it happens when they have the sort of the seasonal type of thing. But as far as the traffic, if I recall in the previous approval, we provided a traffic report that was requested. We can certainly have that renewed again and do a traffic report on Gayhurst. Basically, we'll contact the same consultant that did that and have them come back and do an update to the report that they've done before and see if they have any additional findings of that.
Now, Ron, question.
Yes.
Now, is this an item that can be brought back?
Yes, it can. So that's a suggestion, Commissioner, and also Madam Chair. We could bring back this item so that way we can respond to those questions, and allow the architect to engage with the operator of the facility to be able to provide some additional information, based on the operations of the facility. We could, based on the commission's within the commission's purview, we could send out another notice in preparation for that future planning commission meeting.
And Madam Chair, given the confusion about the hours of operation, which, as Vice Chair Maciel and others have mentioned, is very significant. It's a very significant change in those hours. I would recommend that the commission entertain a motion to continue this and to renotice it, and that would also give us an opportunity to notice in Spanish as well.
Please, thank you. Yes, and I think that is a very good idea, just because it's only fair to reach out the appropriate demographics in the area. So yeah, I would like to do that. Are there any other questions or concerns before we move with the motion?
I had one more thing in regards to parking. I know there's a significant amount of parking there, but now with the establishment of a new warehouse, how is that going to affect the parking on the actual premises?
So based on the parking on the premises, it's based on the use itself. So the building cannot be larger than what they can provide in parking. So based on the number of parking spaces, complies with the size of the building. So they wouldn't be able to do 20,000 square feet and only provide 5 parking spaces. They'd have to comply with the parking required for the size of facility that they're proposing.
Okay.
So, and again, it's a mirror image of the facility right next door to this site. So they're just essentially proposing the same building configuration and parking and site design layout.
Okay.
Okay. Sorry.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Finish.
The main thing I wanted to make sure is that there will be adequate amount of space available on the property, and that the excess of employees are not parking out on the public streets, making it inconvenient for people to come home and park, especially if it's a residential area.
Yes. So that's where I wanted to jump in and ask, do we have an estimated number of how many employees they anticipate to have on the site?
I do not have that information. Do you have, and that's something if the architect doesn't know, we can come back to the commission on that.
And it's just an estimate, a ballpark number, just so we kind of get an idea how much bodies are coming and going.
They employ 110 full-time, and that they have 10 seasonal workers annually.
Okay. Right.
And the 110 is sort of the total number of people who are on their payroll.
Okay, thank you. Okay, do we have any other questions, comments, or concerns from the commission?
So Madam Chair, just want to make one recommendation that if the commission does decide to postpone this meeting, I recommend that you postpone to a date uncertain. So that way we don't, that way it allows enough time for us to work with the applicant instead of working on a specific date and not being able to come back with the information as requested.
Sounds good. Okay. So then I'll go ahead and motion to postpone this meeting and move it forward so we have enough time to collect all the appropriate data we need.
Yes, to
continue the item.
Continue the item.
To continue the item.
To a date uncertain.
To a date uncertain. Okay, so I like to motion to continue the item to a date uncertain. Can I get a motion?
Second.
Sorry, really quick question. Does the motion also include the renoticing?
Yes. In Spanish, please.
So I believe there's a motion and a second, Ron.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the second, Escobosa.
Ricardo.
I,
Mm.
okay. I had second, but it's okay. Give it to Vasquez.
Okay, Vasquez.
That's funny. Okay.
Okay, Madam Chair Valenzuela,
Yes.
Vice Chair Maciel Jr.,
Yes.
Commissioner Escobosa,
Yes.
Commissioner Vasquez.
Yes.
All right, we will continue to a date uncertain. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, and then just to quickly add to that, can we make sure for future projects that we do reach out to the appropriate demographics in the area in multiple languages, not just in English? Because I know in some areas we have, a large population of Filipino speakers, in another area, obviously Spanish speakers, just to, we include our community as a whole, everybody.
Yes, I will, thank you, Madam Chair. I will work with with our city attorney and also work with our administration. I will say that to make sure that we're following state law, again, traditionally, we do submit notices of public hearing in English. As far as the other languages, I do have to reach out to see what resources the city has in being able to meet that request. So
Okay.
I'll definitely be coming back to the commission and reporting that back.
And at least a very minimal Spanish, since that is a very, very large population in our community, at the very least, just so we can get our point across to the vast majority as possible. Yeah, thank you.
Ron, can I make a quick note?
Yes.
So Madam Chair and Commission, on our notices, I did want to note at the very end, it does say in Spanish, and if they request translation or any sort of
thank you for that
clarification, it does say it out in Spanish. It does have our contact information, and the community has been very good about when it is Spanish speakers or any other translation, they do call in asking for clarification on what the notice is for. So we do have that note on all of our notices. And
Okay,
I
thank you. Perfect, thank you.
Thank you, Melissa. The other notice, if you guys are aware at our council meetings as well, there is simultaneous translation. We have been cognizant of when that has been needed. That's something that's always on the back of our mind if that service is required, especially if we know that there's going to be a Spanish speaking contingency where we need that service done. So far, I don't think, Melissa, we've had to have that. We've been able to effectively communicate with the Spanish speaking community when they come to the meetings.
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
All righty. Okay, so at this moment, we can go ahead and move forward with a report of officers. Do we have any?
The only report, Madam Chair, in the commission is I just wanted to update that the Planning Commission, the City Council adopted first reading of the downtown specific plan, and we'll be coming back for second reading at the next meeting. So we're really excited in implementing the plan as we move forward this year. So thank you.
Yay, thank you. Okay. Okay. At this moment, I'd like to open up for any communications from the commission or any other staff communications.
I have a note, Ron, I wanted to get an update as to what's going on with the proposed land where Athens wants to come in I just need to know when this disaster is gonna come in, because I know I guess they've already won the settlement or the lawsuit. So I'm just curious to know when will we see movement there? Because I know that's gonna have a big impact on our city.
Yes.
When they start building there.
Yes, Commissioner Maciel, we'll, on our side, on the staff side, we will be working on notifying the community. And so when that becomes available, we'll be sure to send out to the commission. I am aware that they are, will be beginning the initial stages of construction. So it is coming. There is a community notice that's being prepared right now to notify the residents of Baldwin Park.
Thank you. One other note, Ron, for future references, is it possible to get notices of when you have community outreach, like in our first agenda item for the LEDs? I never heard about the outreach that was made in January.
Oh, the outreach that Melissa was mentioning is is notification of the environmental document, the availability of the environmental document, which is required. That goes to all the property owners and occupants within 300 feet of the parcel. It also gets recorded at the LA County Recorder's Office.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that notice goes out to all the owners and occupants within 300 feet of that parcel.
Okay.
Could we still get them though, just so we are aware when they're reaching out, just so for future purposes?
Absolutely, yeah, we'll make that note.
Thank you.
And one last thing, I was just curious, just for educational purposes, I wanted to know. I guess they have to actually seek another permit through Caltrans. Why is that? If the actual display is on Baldwin Park property.
At minimum, what I do know is that yes, they are required a permit from the state, from Caltrans, because it's within the for lack of a better term, the sphere of influence. It's within the freeway area, and within that area requires a permitting. So all the billboards, LED, they're required, even when any work that has to be done, not related to billboards, but anything that's affecting the off ramps, on ramps, that the city is proposing, have to run through Caltrans. Also, too, Caltrans, there's requirements for billboards too, that the changing of the advertising can happen within a certain number of seconds.
Right.
So yes,
and I think the lighting also, no?
And also lighting.
Yeah.
The lighting is also an issue.
Yeah. So they have to comply. They're very strict requirements that they have to abide by. Yes.
Okay. That was it on my behalf. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other communications from staff or our commission? Okay, I see none. All right, so at this moment, I'd like to go ahead and motion to adjourn the meeting tonight.
I'll second it.
Perfect. Time's 8:05.
Nice. Good job, everyone.
All right, guys. All right, everybody. Have a good night.
Have a good night, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Have a good night.
Good night.